2025 consensus in Toronto, guys, is going down, okay? Anybody who is somebody in the cryptocurrency space, they are here right now, all right? But who do we have? We got my man, Jack McDonald, okay? The senior, okay, on the board of stablecoins here at Ripple. All right, guys. So let's get into it. I want y'all to tap in. Mind you, a lot more content coming after this. Y'all lock in with me.
Live from Consensus 2025, I'm Jen Sanasi with Christine Lee. Our next guest is a longtime fintech executive who's calling 2025 the year of the stablecoin, and he's leading that charge at Ripple. Jack McDonald, Ripple's Senior Vice President of Stablecoins, join us now. Jack, welcome to the show.
For having me.
Well, I got to start here, Jack. We have stablecoin legislation that we thought we were going to get in the United States. Now it's looking a little bit rocky. You called it the year of the stablecoin. Is it still going to be the year of the stablecoin?
Yeah, stablecoins are having a moment. It's a bit of a thing. I think politics are playing out, but the conversations we've been having, we have a full policy team in Washington, D.C. that keep their ear to the ground, and it certainly feels like stablecoin legislation is coming. Still working through some nuances, but my sense is it's going to come, and it's going to come sooner rather than later, which will be a huge unlock for the industry.
Is it becoming a bipartisan issue? So we're seeing the Democrats reportedly delay stablecoin legislation, concerned about ties with crypto and President Donald Trump, that he is unjustly enriching himself using his public office for personal enrichment. But is it becoming a partisan issue now?
Well, a lot of politics become partisan, and I'm not, here to talk about the nuances of the bills as much as I think there's a general direction of travel that both sides of the aisle want to have a more meaningful environment, a more constructive environment in the U.S. for digital assets. And stablecoins, I think, represent really the lowest common denominator. It's really the least crypto that you can have. And so it's something, particularly for newcomers to the space, to really wrap their heads around because of how they work. And certainly and the whole premise of this legislation is to provide regulation and clarity around stablecoins. And so being dollar-backed, being regulated, I think is something that both sides of the aisle are getting behind.
I mean, there was talk on the Republican side that they were hoping to have stablecoin legislation by this summer. Trump has said that. Do you see that happening?
I'm optimistic, but I'm a half-full kind of person.
I was going to say, you're one of the only optimistic people I've heard from on that topic.
There's been talk that it's going to be part of a market structure bill. There's been talk that it's going to be on a standalone basis. My sense is that there's a lot of motivation and momentum behind it, and I don't want to throw a date out there, but my sense is we're going to have stablecoin legislation here fairly soon.
We talked to a lot of stablecoin issuers at CoinDesk, little platforms that offer stablecoins. For you, what is that killer use case for stablecoins? Does it have to do with remittances? Does it have to do with real-world assets? Does it have to do with providing infrastructure to the traditional financial institutions and rails? What's that killer use case for you?
Am I only allowed one answer?
Yes.
Or can I have two?
Okay, you can have two.
So clearly global payments, cross-border payments is right at the crux. I think most people believe that stablecoins are the killer app for cross-border payments. Ripple's had a front row seat in that business since our inception, and certainly a part of the origin story. And payments are a broad range: remittances, treasury movements, charitable donations, payroll, paying of consultants and whatnot. We're really, really excited about capital markets as well. The recently announced acquisition of Hidden Road is a quantum leap forward, I think, in terms of our ability to lead the charge of bridging the divide between traditional finance and crypto Web3. Stablecoin is right at the crux of that. We'll be able to use a stablecoin as a piece of collateral to cross-margin assets between those two different industries. And so I think the next couple of years are really going to play out in meaningful ways about how capital markets are really reinvented by using stablecoins. So I'm really excited about that part.
Okay.